World Championships and shows off our national team and the backup members to it. It also gives us an opportunity to show up our commentators who are here with us looking for this season, Debbie and Brian, as we look for this season and prep for 1988, the Olympics in Calgary.
Well, as we prep for 1988, we look back, and over 14 years, Skate Canada has become one of the top international skating events in the world. And I use as my example that 6 of the top 10 pairs, including the world champions, are here in Regina. But you know, preparing for an event so early in the season can be both difficult and costly. Joachim Edel from Germany sprained his knee earlier this week in practice. Yuri Ozawa from Japan is out with an injury. And just last week, Rosemary Sakic from Vancouver broke her foot, and she's unable to compete.
Well, that might be the first record set here at Skate Canada 86. But really, there isn't such a thing as an off-season for our kids, Debbie.
Boy, not anymore. It used to be you had a period to rest, but, boy, these skaters are skating all over the world all year long, and it's very, very hard. We have won something like 14 medals over the summer and early fall, and they've all come home to Canada. 2 of them were gold from the St. Ivel competition in London, England. One of the performances that I was most impressed with was Canada's Elizabeth Manley. She was confident, she was brave, she was clean, she did it all. We're joining her in performance here.
You know, after last year's World Championships and the St. Ivel win for Elizabeth, she really has to be considered one of the top contenders in the ladies' event in the world, not just the top 5. We have to think of her as being on the podium in 87, on her way to 88.
This is coming up to the end of her program. She's still got that tremendous speed, energy, and vitality that she's famous for. Watch this very closing combination. Double flip jump. An Arabian.
And her figures are outstanding, too.
This is the final jump sequence, the double axel jump. She finishes with kind of a trademark flying camel spin that bobs at the end. Watch for it. There it is. A little bit of business here, and into her final corkscrew spin.
That's a tremendous improvement for Elizabeth Manley over last year, and she was 5th in the world last year. So we have a great deal to look forward to there. But not just in the ladies, we also have, of course, the men's you all know about. Our pairs competition is as good as any, and here's another example of it.
And here are the gold medalists, Johnny. Christine Huff and Doug Ledre from Canada.
This was a big win for Christine and Doug because they are the 4th-ranked team in Canada. Winning a very top international event in England is extremely good for them going into this season. Here at Skate Canada, we'll be seeing Cynthia Kuhl and Mark Rousum and Denise Benning and Lyndon Johnson, but knowing that we have the depth equal to that of the Soviets in the pairs event is very refreshing in Canadian skating.
You're looking at 2 of the people who hope to be part of the 17 that Canada will be sending to the World Championships, and only one country in the world, that's the Soviet Union, will be sending more. They can send only one more. 18 is the maximum, and we're just one shy of that.
I think here we're seeing the results of the best ever program, the program that the federal government has put into effect, promoting skating right from the grassroots. We're seeing it at the club level, and we're seeing it in great performances like this.
So we win silver and a gold in the pairs over in St. Ivel. We win the gold in the ladies competition, and then we had Diane Takuchi go over to win the Fuji from 4th place to 1st place. Brian Orser doing his job over in Budapest, and our skaters all over the world have been doing it. And there is the grand finale for Christine Huff and Doug Ledre of Canada. The Pairs Championship will be coming up. In the number of great pairs they have in the Soviet Union. We're looking at the number 5 pair, but we're seeing them for the very first time. Lena Ivichenko and Rushid Kadyrpiev. They were 5th in the national championships in Moscow in 1986.
Johnny, not only does the Soviet Union have a great tradition in pair skating, this pair is one other to add to their long line of tremendous depth in the Soviet Union in pair skating. They have the traditional, very clean Russian line, that rather very fast and soundless skating.
That's the required jump in the short program, side-by-side double loop jump.
We've been used to seeing in the past a new Russian pair, a great big strong male and a teeny little female, but this is quite different. She's 125 and he's 178.
Should either be skating exactly the same steps, or in this case doing steps in opposition, all adding to the whole. Again, tremendous speed covering the ice.
Elena is 19 and Rushid is 23. So while we're seeing them for the first time, they've obviously skated together for a while. Elena Kvitchenko and Rushid Kadokiev from the Soviet Union.
Let's have a look at the split double twister, which is one of the required moves in the show program. She taps in. The partner must catch the girl before she lands on the ice. Nicely done.
A very clean performance. None of the 7 elements were in any jeopardy whatsoever, except perhaps the back outside death spiral. It wasn't very low.
That was definitely their weakest element.
5.4. First set of marks, and this is for required elements. 5-4, 5-3, the 2-5-5, 2-5-2s, and a 5-4. Remember, these marks are for 30% of the total. The long program is good for 70%. The second set of marks, and this is for the presentation, and these range from 5.1 to 5.6.
5.1 to 5.3.
And here we have the world champions, Katerina Gordeeva and Sergei Grinkov. She's only 15. He's 19. They're sensational. This is a short program.
Such a charming opening.
That first 15 seconds, I think, sets the mood, and really, it's saying we are the world champions. To me, it's wonderful.
Watch this overhead. The last 2 lifts, a very clean edge going in. A lot of the skaters do a skid as they enter. Not sincere.
Imagine they were junior world champions in 85, and no wonder world champions in senior company in 86.
That double twist lift was so amazing because they are required to do the lift prior to the lift. And that was almost a split lift with a twist at the top. Exceptionally beautiful. She just flies. Death spiral.
She's only 4'10" and 77 pounds, but she's been a junior world champion, a senior world champion, and a Skate Canada champion.
Here's the double twist. Let's have a look at her. Watch the entry. She picks with the back foot, split, goes up, and she just soars. They do a triple one of those in the long program.
I remember last year at the World Championships, I said that I preferred Golovin and Vasilyev because of their style, but I've never seen this couple skate with so much character. And first competition out that we've seen them this year, I think that vast improvement from last. They had a little trouble on the side-by-side camel change camels, which was unusual for them because in practice, it's dead on.
The first set of marks, 5'8", a string of 7s and a 5'5", and 2 more 5'7". Those are the marks for required elements, and now we'll have the marks for the presentation, and those will range from 5.5 to 5.9. Gordeeva and Grinkov at the Denise Benning and Lyndon Johnson, who started to skate together in September of 1985. They just come off a silver medal in Skate America, but they say that they may have to take their music apart and put it back together again because the finish doesn't excite the audience the way they'd like to. Let's see if it does tonight.
I think you're referring to the long program, Johnny, because in the short program they're using top hat, white tie, and tails. And it's absolutely, totally charming and with a lot of character.
For a moment, some hesitation in the double loop. Lyndon had a little tiny trouble with the entrance to the camel spin. It's been a fantastic night for the audience. There has been so many different styles, so many choices of music.
And as we watch this great Canadian pair, we know that Charlene Wong has won the figures in Budapest tonight. Tracy and Rob have won the compulsory dance competition in Budapest tonight, and Brian Orser got a perfect 6 in his short program when he threw in a triple axel in a combination.
This is the best back outside death spiral in the world. She's into the fully down position right from the first second. Look at the pivot position of Lyndon, an amazing death spiral.
Gordeeva and Grinkov at first, Poole and Ralston at second. We'll see whether Benning and Johnson move into that top bracket.
This is a look at the overhead. Again, a very clean takeoff. She has a beautiful split in the air. And watch Lyndon's feet. He balances from one foot to the other. Here, look, even on the exit. Beautiful.
Well, I think this couple developed unison in their spins much quicker than most pairs do. Debbie, you're a great pairs champion. Did you get that feeling?
I certainly really enjoy them, Johnny. I think for having been together such a short time, even if they've been together for 10 years, they're still wonderful. But the spins are certainly a tough portion of pair skating. It requires many hours of work.
Waiting for the first set of marks, which will be worth 30% of the total, and they're marked 5.2, the 5.3s up to a 5.5, 5.3, 5.2, and a 5.3. Jim was disappointed in those.
They had that little bit of scatteredness on the camel spin. You may see this next set go up.
5.4, 5.3.
Second set of marks for presentation, and they range from 5.2 to 5 point. Short program with its compulsory elements is very difficult, but it was skated so beautifully tonight by some of the best in the world. As a matter of fact, as we look at the standings, you see that the world champions, Gordeeva and Grinkov, are on top. Kuhl and Rousum, bronze medal winners last year, are second. Benning and Johnson of Canada, third. Kvachenko and Kadurkiev of the Soviet Union here for the first time are in fourth place. Seibold and Seibold of the United States are fifth. Kanitz and Schroeder of East Germany are in sixth position. That sets us up for a good day tomorrow because we'll have 90 minutes of the ladies' short program, the men's short program, and a look at the original set pattern dance. So Brian and Debbie will be with us 4:30 to 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Check the time period. One of the exciting prospects in men's competition is Christopher Bowman of the United States. Christopher is in sixth position after the compulsory figures, but his strong suit, his forte, is free skating. Now, of course, he has to do it, first of all, in the short program.
And here's the combination, a triple Lutz, double toe loop.
Christopher Bowman from the United States.
Here comes the triple Lutz double toe loop. Extremely high in the triple Lutz, strong landing into the double toe loop. I don't think we're going to see a better one tonight. As a matter of fact, I don't think we're going to see a better short program than that tonight. That was amazing.
And there's the beautiful double axel, very high. Landed up a little high on the toe, but exited well.
Unfortunately, we haven't seen him for 2 years because in the U.S. Nationals last year he had to withdraw because of injuries. But he's exciting. And the first set of marks for Christopher Bowman, and they're good ones. They're fives across the board with a 5.6. And Carroll looks at it. It's hard to tell from the expression on his face whether he expected more than that or not. I thought he skated well. I thought he was marked fairly well. And his second set of marks will be equally as good. As a matter of fact, we have three 5.6s in there, and the rest of them are all 5.5s for 19-year-old Christopher Bowman from the United States. Scott Cotillo from the United States is our next skater. He's 21, but amazing story about him. He tried for years and years, and he said, I just never could do figures. And in fact, he that I tried to quit 2 or 3 times, and I thought, well, I'll try one more coach. And finally, he found a coach, and it's this coach, Kathy Casey, who taught him to do figures, and now he's a big guy, and he's taking a run at it.
Here comes the combination. Double toe, triple toe. The first time tonight we've seen it in reverse. The double toe is the required jump combined with any other double or triple. He chose to do the triple second, which I think is much more difficult.
Scott Curtilla, the 21-year-old from Seattle, Washington.
Clever piece of choreography. I don't know if that was meant or not, but that's sort of a trademark of Scott. He has pure guts of determination when he comes out of those triples and the double axel. If he's a little bit off, he uses the strength to hold on. His way through this. That's 2 mistakes he's gotten out of cleanly. There he is, the big guy, 21-year-old Scott Curtilla. He's 6'1", 175 pounds, but he can move. Well, that performance was a little rough around the edges, but you certainly have to admire and appreciate the raw energy and the talent that he showed tonight. Perfect example of let's just try it one more time, because he was all set to quit and go to school and give up skating altogether, and I like what I see.
You see there in the combination spin how he with such energy, came down into the sit spin that he nearly lost his balance. Tiny bit shaky there. But he kept the energy of his program.
Well, he was 8th in the compulsory figures. Now, in this short program, they may have found those little rough edges that you mentioned and could take a little away from him, but we'll know in a moment.
5.0.
Well, we have a varying range here, all the way from 4.7, 4.6 as a matter of fact, up to a 5.2. She's happy. He got to his first big international test right there. That's what it was.
5.5.
His second set of marks, and these range from 5.0 to 5.5 for the presentation.
5.3, 5.1,
Scott
and 5.0.
Neil Patterson from Canada. Neil is in 5th place after the compulsory figures. But he's very daring. I don't know how daring he will be in this short program. He may take some chances because he's in 5th place.
He's been having some trouble during practice with the triple axel. Trying out the first jump at the double loop. Next comes his combination, which we'll see. It's going to be the triple axel. Double toe. All right. Woo! It's now tough for a skater to get themselves calmed down after you've done something that important. Very hard to get calmed down again.
But it's nice to get a triple axel out of the way early in your program. From North Vancouver, coached by his brother Gary, just down by the gate that Gary is skating harder through this program than Neil is.
Nice crossfoot, good pass, nice balance. I don't think I've ever seen Neil as alive during the performance.
Oh, now that was a very unfortunate mistake that happened there. But it's a point-4 deduction, and that's a shame, especially with the combination of a triple axel double toe loop.
Neil Patterson, well, but throwing that triple axel in there is, I think, in a short program, takes a lot of intestinal fortitude, because you're either going to make it big or you're going to blow it.
Here it is. Beautiful triple axel. The free leg got away from a little bit on the landing. Not much speed coming out on the double toe. It probably wasn't his best jump.
Here's the touchdown on the double axel, just over rotation. I think he was so hyped up from the triple that he forgot to check out of the double.
The mark for Neil Patterson.
It's going to be interesting to see how they look upon that as required elements, by taking the risk of putting it in and then being caught on an easier jump, as you said. And I think that the reason they're held up right now is because some of the judges can't make up their mind about how high to go for the triple and how far to come back down off the double.
But putting all of that aside, I think to Neil's credit, as Debbie said, it was a very electric performance, more so than we've seen in the past. He had excellent footwork, probably the best crossfoot that we've seen tonight. But it is the short program, and the deductions are laid out for the judges.
Well, that number 3 judge took it away from him, and that's the Czechoslovakian judge. But we have the marks of a 4.7 up to a 5.2. Now, it's hard to tell what the second set of marks, and this is, again, the Czechoslovakian judge ranging down from a 4.8. From Czechoslovakia, Peter Barna. He's had 2 trips to the World Championships, and he's had 2 trips to Skate Canada.
This is a very improved young man. Remember, it's only less than 6 months since we've seen many of these skaters. And yet some you can see instantly have grown up. Tricks are much better, much more confident. Others don't seem to improve at all.
And then 16th in the World Championships. But in both of those occasions, he had a lot of difficulty in his short program and had a lot of difficulty coming back from it. Looking at what we see today, he's a far cry from that. He looks about 100% improved.
Noticing that fewer people are making mistakes in the short program, and I'm just wondering if it's because that this year the short program length has been increased to 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And it gives the skaters a little bit more of an opportunity to breathe in between elements instead of rushing to one another.
Peter Barna from Czechoslovakia. He was 4th at the compulsory figures.
Here's the opening jump combination, setting up for the triple Lutz jump. Watch that nice quick back outside edge.
Uses the toe, 3 rotations, lands on a back outside and directly into the double toe loop. Very clean. Nice arch in the back.
Here we have a look at the footwork that was really quite intricate, and one of the areas that Peter has really improved in. He's doing a lot of bracket turns right here, which is a reverse revolution along with the toe hops right there. Really quite effective.
And so while we wait for Peter to get his marks, it's nice to know that Brian Orser has won another gold medal over in Budapest. Wilson and McCall are leading over there in the dance competition at the halfway mark after the original set pattern dance. And Charlene Wong is in gold position after the short program. So we're looking good over there and looking good here as the first set of marks for Peter Barna range from 5.2 to 5.6 for the required elements. Marks for presentation for Peter Barna, and they have a range from 5.3 to a 5.6. He's happy with that. He skated well, got good marks. And Peter Barna, who was in 4th place, has now completed his halfway mark. In 3rd place after the compulsory figures from France, Frédéric Arpage from France. I like his music already.
It used to be that every skater skated to classical music, and it's simply not the case anymore. We go all the way from Broadway to jazz to swing. Movie scores are very popular. And I think that's what skating should be like. Not every skater has the classical look. Tough break there, the triple Lutz. It was almost too close to the board. Couldn't complete it and then failed to even get out of the double toe jump.
There. You know, he's a very slight fellow, and on some of the more difficult jumps, like the triple Lutz, it doesn't seem that he has the strength to pull out of them strong. And again, on that flying jump spit spin, just not enough strength there to hold the landing.
He's 5'10", 132.
Well, Brian, you know what it's like. Sometimes one mistake breeds a whole bunch of others. You begin to have psychological doubts about your ability, and it shows all the way through.
Frédéric Arpage from France. But I had trouble holding on to that 3rd place position he had after the compulsory figures. No question about that.
Let's see if we can have a look at the triple Lutz. The entry is very tentative. Good height there. Just didn't complete the rotation. Ended on the 2.5 and just not enough room to complete the double toe.
Here's the simplest jump in the short program, the double loop jump, and it was probably the best element that Frederick did.
Unfortunately, the jump combination, the omission of the double toe, the required jump, will be critical and devastating, I dare to say.
I would tend to agree, yes.
Here's another look at the flying change foot sit spin. Nice in the air, but then not really standing up over the landing foot.
Well, you're absolutely right. I have not seen Mark knock down this, well, 3.7 up to a 4.1, and that's why they put the automatic deductions in, because people might be sympathetic in a case like this and mark them up as they used to do. Now they have no choice. They just have to take him down, and his marks for the presentation even is hurt because of the 4.5 to the 5.0 range. Frédéric Arpage from France. Gordeeva of the Soviet Union, because even though he is in first place after the compulsory figures, we had Filipowski and Peter Barna and Christopher Bowman. Bowman has moved all the way from 6th. Can't get any worse than 4th. Time back to Skate Canada for Egorov since 1981, when he finished 6th.
You heard that real crispy takeoff on the double axel.
Well, technically, he's a very good skater, but I'm really quite surprised because the Soviet Union in recent history has been producing skaters such as Vladimir Kotin and Petrenko, who really add a definite style of their own, but tonight it seems like he's skating almost expressionless, so concerned about doing the elements, and this is a tough competition, good company to be in. It's leaving me a bit flat.
I think skaters make the very serious mistake of emulating others. And perhaps it's Vitaly's problem. Most of the skaters rotating to the left cross the left foot over. That one was a crossfoot with the right foot crossed over.
Well, he is not very happy. He just, matter of fact, he is disgusted with himself, as you could tell from the actions out there. He had first place, but I don't know if he can hold it.
Very nice double axel jump. Look at the nice soft knees on the landing. The knees are the skater's greatest ally. I think if you can use your knees, balance is easier, positions are better.
And here's the combination spin, starting with the front camel into a varied layover position there, forward sit spin, upright, and he must change onto the other foot. You know, he really delivered the goods, as some of the other guys did tonight, but I'm afraid that he just didn't give enough in the presentation, and I think that that's going to make the difference, and he may not be at the top in the short program, although he may hold up there with combined results.
5.7.
Those marks range from 5.3 up to a 5.7 for the required elements.
Number 5 judges from the Soviet Union.
5.4.
Second set of marks range from 5.2 to a friend. In 6th place at the moment, and 4th in Canada, Michelle McDonald and Michael Carrington. Michelle is from Abbotsford, British Columbia, Michael from Willowdale, Ontario. And they're in 6th place after the compulsory dance. Michelle McDonald and Michael Farrington of Canada. And the original set pattern here at Skate Canada.
Some of the footwork that the dancers develop in the OST, I think the free skaters should take a good look at it. They have a beautiful body carriage, interesting footwork. They must maintain speed.
For composition. 4.8, 4.8, 4.7, 4.7, 4.6, 4.7, 4.6.
The marks for composition 4.6, 4.7, 4.8. And the marks for presentation will range from 4.6 to 4.8.
4.6, 4.8.
Michelle McDonald and Michael Farrington of Canada. Place at the moment, Suzanne Semenick and Scott Gregory from the United States. They're both from Wilmington, Delaware. Silver medalists in the United States. They were 5th in the world last year.
Must do 2 rotations of the dance, and the judges will be looking during the composition mark, the first set of marks, whether each repetition corresponds with the first one. The skaters must be able to place the steps and edges accurately each time.
Ago, they were 12th in the world. They moved up to 5th last year, and what we see today in the original set pattern at Skate Canada, it looks like they've improved a stage or 2 even more.
Well, we talked about the composition of the OST and the presentation. The music obviously must be Viennese in character, and it must capture the feeling of a grand ballroom. And I think that's exactly what Semenick and Gregory did with this OST.
I think that the marks will reflect your comments, Brian, particularly in the presentation as much as the composition, although the composition showed a lot of imagination, as you could see there.
5.3.
There we are. Exactly that. 5.3, 5.6. 4s and 5s in between. That's a good mark for composition. They're in 2nd place at this point, just behind the Soviet skaters Anenko and Stratensky. The 2nd set of marks, and these are good too. These range from 5.5 up to a 5.7. The Canadian judge certainly liked the Americans.
5.
For so many years, we thought of the Soviet Union as the country that produced the great dances, but long before and now again, it is Great Britain that is back with the fine ice dancers, as we see with Sharon Jones and Paul Askham. Sharon is 22, Paul is 24, and at the moment they are in 4th place at the compulsory dances here at Skate Canada.
Usually in a Viennese waltz, the skaters have to strictly adhere to the rule and the timing of the waltz. But like last year when there was an addition to the rules where toe steps were allowed in the quick step, this year a slight retardation in the music is allowed, and that's basically because most of the European skaters were having difficulty finding Viennese music without a retardation. So when you watch for the slowness and then the picking up of the tempo again, which has been allowed for this year.
Does not, for me, seem to be consistent throughout.
Of Great Britain, who won a silver medal in the recent St. Ives competition. And as we watch them in slow-mo on the replay, just as skaters around the world are helped in various ways and means, you'll notice that our sponsors on the rink boards here, such as Score, makers of Hershey bars, have come up with a special bar for all Canadian skaters. And during the next month, all skaters across Canada are going to be selling these special bars, and all the money goes to skating. And that's one of the ways that our skaters are helped. The money goes to the Athletes Trust Fund, and then it is spread out amongst the skaters to the varying degrees of their needs.
Very worthwhile program, John.
Marks for competition for Sherry Jones and Paul Casper. 5-2.
For composition, the first set of marks here, we have 5 zeros ranging up to a 5.3. That's the marks for composition. And then for Askham & Jones for presentation, this is the second set of marks, and this will range from 5.0 to a 5.3. Jones and Askham from Great Britain.
5.2.
Natalia Ananenko and Genrik Stratensky from the Soviet Union. They are in first place. They were fourth in the World Championships last year, third in the Europeans. They just have had victories in St. Ives, Basel Universiade, Soviet Union, Junior World Champions back in 1982. Great, great dancers.
They are very classy to watch on the ice. He's a Michael York lookalike. For a moment whether they're on balance or not.
This is a very complex and intricate OST that forever changes positions, as you pointed out, Debbie. The only danger of that is that it might be too difficult that they lose the timing and get off the music every once in a while. So We'll have to watch for that.
Soviet skaters have maturity because they've skated for a long time. They're able to keep them there. Natalia's 22 and Ginrich is 24. Natalia Ananenko and Genrich Stepensky, the leaders from the Soviet Union. Beautiful to watch and outstanding in competition.
Look at the way they move through some of these position changes. Very quickly, they know exactly where their partner is. There's never any reaching or grabbing. You never suspect that they are using each other as a crutch.
These marks, both for competition and presentation, will be the highest we have seen all night. And in fact, we see the first 5.8 of the original set pattern dance. And that 5.8 comes from the judge from Great Britain. 5.8 to 5.7s and down to a 5.5. And this is for presentation, should be equally as good. And these marks range also from a high of 5.8 down to a low of 5.6, with 5.7s in between. Well-deserved marks for Anenko and Stepensky from the Soviet.
Beautifully the best in the world. They're forever adding originality to their elements, and I think that you'll see a far more polished program this year than last. Now, the main thrust of the summer training for Poole and Rowson has been to develop a style and distinction of their own. We'll be able to judge their success with this performance here. Denise and Lyndon have always enjoyed the recognition of being a personable couple, and they're challenging themselves this year by skating to several opera selections. The question is, will their program be difficult enough to stay in third place ahead of the Soviets or move into second?
No question that both of those finales are going to be very exciting. And in just a moment, we'll be from the United States, Natalie and Wayne Sabo from Wilmington, Delaware. They were 8th in the World Championships last year, and at this moment, they're 5th in Skate Canada into the free skating final.
It's a really neat spin to begin with. Notice they never put their foot down. They keep rotating, changing position all the time. Notice the spin's even picking up in speed. I like it.
Something very different planned here. It's called the throw triple lutz. Oops, it's a throw double lutz. It's basically the same as a double twist, except that the gentleman does not touch the lady before she lands on the ice.
I love this music. It's the score from the movie Mishima. Triple twist. a rapport between them when they skate. They acknowledge one another. There seems to be good communication. I hate it when a pair looks as if they're ignoring their partner. Here's the throw triple Salchow.
Beautiful.
Been affected a lot by rule changes since last year's World. Brian, you mentioned some of the lift restrictions. There have to be at least 3 different lifts with a maximum of 5, and no more than 2 should be a twist lift. Throws are optional but are limited to 3.
Manley and 23-year-old Wayne Sabo have been making their presence felt a little more each year ever since they won the National Junior Championship in the United States in 1982. Since then, they've made it to the World Championships on 2 occasions, and here tonight we're seeing them at their very best.
Now, this is an exception to the way the rules used to be. The lady was not allowed to do any kind of horizontal movement, and this has been added, and here is their trademark move, the back outside death spiral from the, I don't know whether you call it an upside down spiral position.
Well, they've got a good chance of catching the second Soviet pair.
Well, they did have quite a few difficult moves in there, like the split triple twist at the beginning of the program. She just made the 3 revolutions before she landed that. But as far as the quality of stroking and skating goes, I don't think that they're up to the standard of the couples that are ahead of them.
Here's one of their very good lifts. The hip lift in stag position, moves out to overhead position, one arm, and down. You begin to know exactly where your partner's going to be.
70% of the marks are riding on this free skating competition. And so for the T-balls, it's important that this first set of marks look good for them, and they're ranging from a low of 5.0 to a high of 5.4. I thought they might have gathered a little more than that, but I guess the next one will tell us the same story, and that is about the same story, except that there's 2 5.4s in there.
5.3.
They were 5th at this point, and we'll have to wait now for the balance of the competition to see how they move. Sabolds from the United States. 2 of the standing skaters in the world, Katerina Gordeeva and Sergei Grinkov. Katerina is only 15 years of age. Sergei is 19. They won Skate Canada last year. They won the World Championship this past year. They won the World Junior Championship the year before that, and she's still only 15.
That was a quad. We've been arguing about this all week, Brian and I. Some days they come on and do their practice, and they can barely get around the triple twist. Now, I'm sure that was a quadruple
That was definitely a quadruple. And here's side-by-side double axel jump. Ooh.
Inside death spiral.
very unusual to see this happen to Gordeeva and Grinkov. But, you know, he is so big and strong. He's 19, he's 6 feet tall, he weighs 161 pounds. And little Katerina, she's 4'10" and weighs 77 pounds.
Now, she even singled the double axle in the combination. There are days.
Here's a throw double axle again. She just barely hung on to that edge. I think she's a little bit nervous after missing so much for her.
Wow.
Can't believe what I'm seeing.
Believe it or not, I've never seen her fall. Ladder lift.
That the World Cup have those off days, because this is certainly an off day for Gordeeva and Grinkov. It'll be interesting to see how the world judges look at this. The Soviet judge is number 1. See how that relates to the rest.
They just seem to be tired out. It's very seldom that you see the Soviet skaters do full run-throughs. During practice sessions, you see them stop and start. They may do the opening, then the slow part, and a tiny bit at the end, but you rarely see them do full run-throughs. And I think physically, they looked exhausted.
Katerina Gordeeva, Sergei Grinkov of the Soviet Union.
Well, here's the split quadruple twist lift. Count the revolution so high. 1, 2, 3, 4. Definitely is clean landing. But overall, a very, very disappointing performance for this couple. And even on the artistic end, with all of those misses, it just didn't happen tonight.
Well, I think everyone was shocked.
Them included,
Oh,
I'm sure.
Indeed. Indeed. However, here is a look at the beautiful forward inside death spiral. Almost a bump with the hip on the ice to get up. Here's the throw triple Salchow, the one where she fell. She almost looked like she didn't even fight to land. The ankle just caved right in, no knee bend to support the body, and down she went.
Well,
5.6.
well, there's your marks. Now, they spread from 5.7 down to a 5.1.
Soviet judge is number 1. Great Britain is number 2.
And from Great Britain, they get a 5.7. And now the second set of marks, these range from 5.3 to 5.7. I guess because they're the world champions, they're getting a break.
The next competitors in
Cole and Mark Rowson, bronze medalists in the world last year. If they go clean here today, they could pull it off. Mark Rowson at 27 has the experience. Cynthia Cole at 21 has given up single skating, is concentrating on the pairs.
they started a very strong program to slow music, doing a slow double axel, slow triple loop jump, two of the most difficult moves done right at the beginning.
Cynthia Cole from Greenfield Park, Quebec. And Mark Rousen from Comber, Ontario.
Their coach, Terry Neach, has always maintained at his school, which is the National Care School in Canada, that he teaches his kids how to skate first, and then he'll teach them how to perform and how to be individuals. And I can really say that this is the first time I have felt a distinction between pairs.
They do it so good, it looks like an accident. Well, you can't get that full body any lower than that.
Spin with 6 different changes.
The throw triple cow. Here it is. Two-footed landing.
I'll tell you how good they are right now. Kerry Leach just smiles. He does not ever let you know how he feels. Close.
Actually, I don't think it should be close at all. As far as I'm concerned, Cynthia and Mark should definitely win this competition. We've got less than half a minute to go, and as far as comparing to the other pairs, tonight they are far superior.
Cynthia's having little problem with the individual jump.
Remember, Katerina Gordeeva and Sergei Grinkov, the world champions, are in first place. Cool and Rousen, who were third in the world last year, have a chance to catch them. And the finale to a standing ovation for Cynthia Cool and Mark Rousen.
Wow. Here's the slow triple loop jump. Look at the height. No problem.
Here comes a lateral twist lift to Cynthia and Mark. This has just been recently allowed. It's now legal to do a lateral twist for the pairs.
Now, the moment. Here we are. The first set of marks. The first set of marks for technical merit. Here we have them. 5-7, 5-7, 5-6. A 5-4, 5-5, 5-7, and a 5-6.
Marks for artistic impression.
Now, here it is. Artistic impression. 5-6, 5-8. 5-7, 5-5, 5-6, 5-7, 5-6. And only the computer can tell us now. Cool and Rousen have won the gold medal. Gordeeva and Grinkov, the world champions, opened the door. Cool and Rousen came charging through to win the gold. Seybold and Seybold of the United States are third. Vichenko and Kadyrkiev of the Soviet Union are fourth. Benning and Johnson of Canada slipped to fifth. And Canis and Schroeder of East Germany are in sixth. And I'm going over to join the party. Oh, what a job you did out there. Oh, that was fantastic. Have you ever put one better? Have you ever?
No, Geneva was better.
Yeah, Geneva was smoother.
Yeah.
But
For this program, no.
oh my God.
But those throws were so long, and those twists were so high, and well, they had Debbie and Brian over there arguing about whether it was 3 or whether it was 4 when you were up there in the rafters. But it was just
That was the other team that did 4.
It was so fantastic. Now, did you have, because of the position that you were skating in, did you feel that what had happened to the world champions gave you a little bit of a breathing room
I don't know
there?
what had happened to the world
We
champions.
didn't see them skate.
Oh, you didn't see them skate?
No.
Oh, you didn't watch them at all?
No.
Well, unfortunately, she fell. She fell 2 or 3 times.
Oh.
Yeah, and you didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, then that all so much more than there for your ability to come out and do it on your own. Congratulations!
thank you.
It's wonderful, wonderful. We look forward to seeing you down the road, and let's keep lots more of them coming.
Thank you
Good luck.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Paul has given us a lot of thrills. Not back since 1973 when it started. 74, 75 was Canada able to put gold medals back to back. But first of all, you saw Elizabeth Manley stay in first place. Natalia Lebedeva from the Soviet Union was her strongest challenger. Unfortunately, she was injured. She fell and ligament problems in her right knee, and she is now over in the hospital next door, and they may have to operate. And so with 1 gold medal tucked away that was then left for Kuhl and Rousum, and the world champions, Gordeeva and Grinkov, opened the door. She had problems, but as that door was opened, Kuhl and Rousum came charging through, and they won the gold medal in the pairs to go with the world bronze that they recorded in Geneva last year. So 2 out of 2 for Canada so far, and there's still 2 more to go. So 1986 has been good for skating fans and Canadian skaters, but there's lots more to come. Now, tomorrow afternoon, we'll be showing you that men's final and, of course, the dance championships. That'll be a special 2-hour show, and we'll have an opportunity then to show you finals that should be as exciting and as close as they were today. 2 gold medals for Canada. Tomorrow afternoon, 4:30 to 6:30 across the country, you'll see the men's and the dance final. And so, on behalf of Debbie and Brian, this is Johnny Esau saying...
Garacino from Calgary. They have chosen this year quite a departure in music. They are skating to film music from the great Waldo Hecker. And they have a great sense of humor when they skate. But here is the real controversy, and let's see whether the judges can stick to the new ruling, because Anenko and Stratinsky from the Soviet Union, the current leaders, are skating to Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet.
6 years ago, Skate Canada Calgary, Grigor Filipowski finished in 8th place. Here in Regina, he finds himself in 2nd place going into the long, and his skating and placing has certainly improved as well as matured. Igorov from the Soviet Union is the leader at this point, somewhat of a surprise to me. Certainly his short program was adequate, but if he's to hold on to first place, he's going to have to skate great. Christopher Bowman, let me put it this way. The difference between a great performance and an almost great performance is the difference between lightning and a lightning bug. He's going to have lightning strike if he's to win.
Thank you, Debbie and Brian, and we'll begin with Skate Canada. Canada will continue. The dance couple in 5th place at the present time, 16-year-old Corinne Taillard and 19-year-old DJ Courtois of France. They were the national junior champions of France, and they were 3rd in the world in junior competition last year. So they're just getting their feet wet in senior company here at Skate Canada.
This is a very dramatic program. Almost more reminiscent of free skating pairs than dance pairs. a lot of stroking.
You're not allowed to stay for more than 4 measures of music in one spot, and I think that was just about the limit.
We haven't seen French power on ice for quite some time, but I think that in the near future we should, because the former world champion Alain Calmat is now either the Minister of Sport or in charge of sport for the French government. And I'm sure he'll put some accent into well, not just ice dancing, but all of figure skating, as well as other sports, too.
I love the emotion that was felt by this couple, and certainly the crowd reacted very favorably. But in terms of ice dancing, I don't think it qualifies.
Well, I think it's very reminiscent of Motieva and Minenkov and the Soviet dancers back then. But as you said, Debbie, ice dancing is taking a different direction now. Perhaps it's nice to see a little bit of a twist and that type of dancing, but the difficulty just wasn't there.
Well, the difficulty was there in the music. I mean, the music was almost too difficult to dance to. That was probably the cause of the problem. Here are their marks now for technical merit, and this set of marks shows you a range from, well, 4.7 up to a 5.2. That's technical merit. And then we'll have the marks for artistic impression. We'll see whether or not the judges were impressed with what they saw, and I think they are, because you see them ranging higher here. So they start with a 4.8 and up to a 5.4. Payard and Coy, Suzanne Semenik and Scott Gregory from the United States. This couple ranked 5th in the world at Geneva last year. They're second here. They were second in the original set pattern. Similarly in the compulsory dances, and the second overall.
This is a complete contrast to the French couple that we just saw. Theirs was so dramatic and intense, so lighthearted, and I think much more successful in capturing the imagination of the crowd here in Regina.
Well, it's showing the kind of footwork that's required, the dramatic changes in position, good skating.
I think that's the reason why they were able to move so quickly from 12th to 5th place in one World Championship.
And the versatility they have, too. Put on any kind of music, and this couple can do it.
pretty good example here of why the rookies or young skaters do not win ice dance championships. You have to be together a long, long time, as is indicated by 27-year-old Scott Gregory and 19-year-old Suzanne Suminick from Wilmington, Delaware. Suzanne Suminick and Scott Gregory.
That was fun.
That was what I call a feel-good type of free dance. It was a very fast 4 minutes, very cleverly done, a lot of tricks, a lot of tricky little moves. It was very lighthearted all the way through, and I think that it was a wise choice considering that the World Championships are going to be in their home country in Cincinnati, and the American audiences will just eat it up.
I agree with you about the tricks, Brian. I think what made this program so much better than the program we have seen earlier is that the tricks grew out of the steps coming into them.
Absolutely.
They weren't just the highlights themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you see the competition that we have here, and then think of those who aren't here, think of how great those Olympics are going to be in Calgary in February 1988. I can't wait for that competition to start.
Technical. So let's just... Technical merit marks, Susan Suminick and Scott.
Now the march for technical merit, and they range 5.5 up to a 5.7. 5, 5, 6s, and 7s.
5.7, 5.6.
And certainly the artistic impression marks, in my opinion at least, will be at least as high.
Well, they should hit an 8 in there somewhere. And from what they did there, here the second set of marks. There we are. 5 7s, a 6, a 7, up to an 8, and another 6. So that's Suminick and Gregory of the United States.
5.7. Karen and Rob Garofino.
Canadian silver medalists Karen and Rod Garofino from Calgary. Rod is 23 and Karen is 21. I like it better than Romeo and Juliet already.
Well, I like Romeo and Juliet, but I can certainly see what Rod and Karen are up to with this. It's a very light-hearted approach. We mentioned in the opening the music from the great Waldo Pepper, and has that kind of circusy march sort of feeling. Slightly off balance going into that lift.
Oh, that's deadly in dance. Well, they've been in third place all the way through from the compulsory dance to the original set pattern, and third overall, but gee, that's going to cost them.
And it took them a while to get back into the program, too, which is tough. I really don't feel they've even recovered yet to this point. They're kind of missing each other.
And the timing is a little bit off. The strokes are not quite as strong, I think, as they should be.
They were ninth in the world last year, and then they changed the complete program. The problem with that fall is you're not going to be able to tell how good the program is by the marks they receive. There'll be no direct relationship at all.
That was a real tough one. They certainly had some interesting moves, very difficult moves. However, the fall will be a very costly one. Let's see if we can get that for you.
It looked like to me that once he lifted Karen, he couldn't quite grab onto the leg, and he lost his balance on the turn. Yeah. That was a very awkward fall. It took them a while to get recovered.
Well, when they both go down, there's nobody up there. There's nobody up there in a hurry to pull the other one back up. They both had to recover. And as you pointed out, it's a question of whether they ever really did from that point on to the end of that program, which was about half of the program, in fact.
Here's a very nice section from the program, one of the changes in music. Coming into the end section, you can see the difficulty in some of the arm movements.
I think that this program is probably a little bit more intricate than Romeo and Juliet last year. Rather than more involved in telling a story, this one was just more lighthearted with the march music. And perhaps it's a little rough around the edges yet, being the first international competition. But I think that they'll work that out.
Well, the judges don't expect any serious falls in ice dancing. And when they do, they come down fairly hard on them, and those two 4.9s would indicate up to a 5.3. But the two 4.9s for technical merit indicate... Well, at least they can give us about it and have a little fun about it, knowing what happened. The marks here now for artistic impression range from 5.0 to 5.6. And with a shrug of the shoulders, the Garasinos say, well, let's try to Jones and Paul Askham. Jones and Askham are in fourth place coming into the long program, the free program of the dance competition. That the Garasinos can still hold their position for a medal here. They're still right behind the Seminiks where they were, Semenik and Gregory, and the leaders from the Soviet Union are still to come, so we could still get a medal out of this.
It depends how this couple skates, John, and how they are marked. They are not nearly the skaters that Karen and Rod are, but if they do a clean performance, skated smoothly, very likely they could move.
Paul is 24, Sharon is 22. They were second at St. Ivo this year and 13th in the world last year.
I think that it depends on your draw, the kind of music you have, and how it affects the audience as it watches. When you come out of a dynamic tune such as Seminus and Gregory, you almost need a few minutes to get the audience settled down again. Actually draw out of a hat the number and position they will skate depending on their placement from the preceding portion of the competition.
Sharon Jones and Paul Askham from Great Britain. And they haven't skated any better than that. So just while we're waiting for a first look at them in slow motion, people might be wondering why Orser and Wilson and McCall are not here, but they've been here in Skate Canada 5 times. They felt it was an opportunity for others to compete, and they are now competing in Budapest, where the World Championships will be next year, and they've all won gold medals over there. So it was a good move for them to be over there, to be known by all those European judges a little better, to know the arena, and to give other Canadians an opportunity to compete here in Skate Canada, because Canada is moving up. You know, next year, well, in 87, that is, Soviet Union and Canada would each send 17 entries to the World Championships. The maximum is 18. The United States will send 14.
Great blues interpretation here by this British couple. I think it's a good rhythm for them. The costumes added very much to the effect. I've never seen them look better.
Marks for Sharon Jones and Paul Askham for technical merit.
Now for technical merit, the first set of marks. And we have 5.1, 5.0s, up to 2s, and the 5.4 to top it off.
And I think those marks will move them up, you know, John.
The 4 was from the British judge, by the way. And another one, and that gives us a 5.1 to a 5.4 for the British couple, Sharon Jones and Paul Askham. Now, from the Soviet Union, 4th in the world last year, Natalia Ananenko and Genrik Stratinsky. Again, they're a veteran couple. Natalia's 22, Genrik is 24.
the controversy on the music of Romeo and Juliet used for ice dancing. I was talking to Joyce Heisey just before the competition, and the actual ruling states that ballet music is permissible only if it has been transcribed to a rhythm suitable for ice dancing. And the Soviet Union team has announced that it has been transcribed, but some of the officials don't feel it has been, and they've decided to have a meeting after this competition to decide whether the fate of this program of Romeo and Juliet.
Garcinos couldn't win with it because that is such powerful music.
It's beautiful, and I think the program is wonderful. You can hear a pin drop in this building.
Soviet Union, they've been leading from the beginning here in State Canada.
Well, in my opinion, I really don't understand the controversy over whether ballet music can be used or whether it can't be used. In my mind, no one should be able to tell a ballet dancer they can't jazz dance or an ice dancer can't skate to ballet music. And I think that it takes a lot of talent in order to command silence in an arena, as this couple did, just as much talent as it does to evoke a thunderous applause.
Well, they've done it with such emotion. Now, in the days when Takimova and Gorskov won the World Championship for 6 straight years, they never ever showed this kind of emotion. But then when they were followed by Moiseeva and Minenkov, and then Despenyova and Dukin, who are the current world champions, and now with this dance couple, we're seeing real emotion on the ice. And I agree with you, Brian, that how you can say that music is not suitable. I can't believe. Look at this set of marks. This is for technical merit.
5.8.
Look at 5.4 to those 5.8. 3 5.8s, 4 5.8. And now for artistic impression, 5.9, and they range as low as 5.6. I can't understand those 5.6s, but that's judging for the Soviet Union first. Semenik and Gregory of the United States second. The Garasinos, despite that fall, remain in third place and win a bronze medal. Jones and Askham is the Director General of the Canadian Figure Skating Association. And as such, it must give you a great deal of pleasure to come back to Regina again to have another successful show as we did 2 years ago.
It's hard to believe it. I think it's almost a little more successful than the last time we were here, but it's going very, very well.
David, there's been a lot of pressure on you for Skate Canada next year in Calgary because it's going to be the pre-Olympic event, and all the countries want to get there. Are you going to make any special plans or changes for that?
No, we're going to go with usual Skate Canada, but we hope that with the pressures that are being put on us, that we think that the top entries in the world, and it'll be a good preview of the Olympic Games, but no, it's going to be the same quality event with the same number of entries.
Now, your theory, your philosophy has been to send as many skaters, regardless of how young they are, to as many places around the world so the judges can see them, and that's really paid off this year, isn't it?
Yes, we're going to about 18 different countries, and already we've won, I think it's now 17 podium medals at this point, but mainly by the new young ones, too, as well as Brian's win yesterday, but the young ones are doing very, very well, and so it's a paid-off program.
It's as much a case of the judges getting to know who they are as it is for these young kids to face the judges in those foreign crowds, isn't it?
Right, and as well as I think it's showing that we have a lot of depth in Canada, and that's what we need them to know out there.
That means we'll get more support from our sponsors and the general public, and that's what you're looking for.
That's right.
Well, David, you've done an outstanding job. Good luck. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's keep that CFSA rolling.
Okay.
David Dorr. Makoto Kano from Japan, and he's in 9th place overall. He was very good in the short program, having finished in 6th position. He had to come a long way back from number 10 in the compulsory figures.
In warm-up, he threw such a gorgeous triple axel. It just stunned the whole audience. I think this is it. It is.
He just barely hung on to that landing.
Kato is second in Japan, and here in Skate Canada last year, he did a ninth position performance, but boy, has he ever got those triples added to his program this year.
Triple flip attempt, a very poor position in the landing. He failed to get his free leg, the one that is not on the ice, failed to get it out of the landing position, stretched back. That's where a skater gets their speed for the landing. Combination.
Most of the Japanese male skaters over the years have been scared to almost tight. It's almost reckless. And but most of them aren't quite as big as Makoto. He's 5'7", 150 pounds. One of the bigger ones they've had.
I like the way he just blasts into the jump. Very little setup.
The curious order to the elements in his long program. The first minute and a half was total jump. The next minute was 3 spins right in a row. And at the end here, he's just got a little bit of everything.
Makoto Kano from Japan. And it's too bad that he had to be coming from a 10th position after compulsory figures, being able to skate in the freestyle fashion as he has just exhibited.
Let's look at that triple axel. Here it is, forward outside edge on the takeoff, 2.5, 3.5 revolutions in the air. You see the free leg a little wild on the landing, but he did bring it back out under control.
Now, he did have several spins in the program, but I think that was the weakest part of his skating. Here's a nice combination spin. Now, a camel spin into a forward sit spin. Up, and I believe that he does change over into a backward sit and a variation on the backward upright.
Very, very unique about Makoto. He doesn't bother with doubles.
Well, we only saw the double axles at the very end of the program, 2 in a row. It was an unusual arrangement for the element.
So the marksman for Makoto Kano. First for technical merits, 5.5, 5.4.
Wow, good mark. Nice set of marks. 5 4s, 5 5s, 5 6s.
And 5.6.
That's for technical merit. And see what artistic impression we're like. I don't think that'll be any higher.
Now the marks for artistic impression.
But technically, he's very, very strong. Oh, he's down just a little bit as they range from 5.2 to 5.6 for Kano from Japan.
5.6 and 5.5.
Frankly, we offer our congratulations to them.
Once again, of the ice dancing event, the free dance portion, 50%.
Michael Slipchuk from the Royal Glenora Club in Edmonton. He talked to Debbie about being anxious and being out on the ice. He was on the ice before the previous skater had even left center ice from bowing to the audience.
Skaters like to get the feel for it again. It's been a few minutes since they've been in their warm-up.
All right. They're very difficult triple S double toe loop by Michael. He has just learned the triple flip and the triple flat since last year's Canadian Championship. And it's very impressive that he's able to get them in this program so early in the season.
In his short program, he stayed too long in that glide going into it, and it was very costly to him. He's getting out of it earlier today.
When a jump is new for you like that, you tend to analyze every vector, every muscle as you're waiting to go into it. It's very important. He may not yet be to the point where he can automatically do it.
The Canadian junior champion in 1986, now stepping up in the senior company.
slope coming here. Seems to be balanced way back on its heels.
Are getting their opportunity in skating with the Canadian Figure Skating Association. Under this new president, Bob Howard, after the Canadians each year, they're taking the Canadian team to places like Sudbury and Elliott Lake they did last year, the British Columbia mainland, and northern and central Ontario. And in 1987, they'll be going to Timmins and Barrie, and in May, they'll go to the Maritime Provinces so that all of Canada can see our national team.
I didn't think that he was going to try the triple toe loop after that double, because he had a couple of misses, and it sort of takes the wind out of your sail a little bit, and it takes a lot of courage and determination to do a triple that late in the program. And a triple left even later.
Flipchuck from Edmonton.
Michael opened the program with a triple Lutz double toe combination. That was the combination in the short program that unfortunately he didn't get out cleanly, but in the long program it was a very strong opening.
Here is the triple Salchow. It was the first of 3 falls in the program, and maybe a bit of a crisis point for him. Every skater feels that once you get past a certain hurdle time-wise, despite the fact that the program is 4.5 minutes in length approximately, there is a time when you feel, I can't go on. And that may have been a very critical point for Michael.
Well, if that was in his mind, he certainly got rid of it in the last minute, because he finished the strongest part of his show, other than maybe the opening 30 seconds, was the last minute.
Sometimes it's easier for a skater to do a longer program than a very short one. You tend to get a second wind. The body starts to settle down, you begin your breathing patterns, and the oxygen starts to get through to the muscle system again, and you sort of revive yourself, whereas in a shorter program, you kind of sweep through it and use up all your energy very quickly.
Sitting with Michael is Rosemary Marks, who's a judge from Edmonton. Michael's coach wasn't able to be here at Skate Canada with Michael. That's Jan Ullmark. And I actually would like to comment on the music that Jan has chosen, and that's Rodeo. I think that it was quite clever, the way that he has choreographed, especially the last section.
First set of marks for technical merit, 4.9 to a 5.2. That's technical merit. And considering the problems he had, that's pretty good. And the second set of marks for artistic impression, 4.9 to a series of 5.1s for Michael Slipchuk of Edmonton. Most popular and one of the most frequent competitors here at Skate Canada is Grzegorz Filipowski of Poland. Young 20-year-old who's been to 6 world championships. Very unique start to his program. And then watch him fly.
program here. Grigor's has 4 triple jumps planned in a row, one after the other. The first one is a triple lutz jump here. That's what I call a squeaker.
Not much height in that one. Greg has really flashed up his appearance in the last couple of years. Oh! Triple axel attempt. Sometimes when skaters are learning new jumps or the pair skaters are learning new lifts, they skate with protective clothing on. For instance, hip pads or knee pads, shoulder pads that look like hockey players.
Well, Grigor is over the years probably would have saved a lot of bumps and bruises if he'd have worn some pads, because most years he can't get through the figures, the short program and the long program, without blowing part of it badly. But here, you said he puts all 3 together, he's one of the very best. Like that.
Triple flip, double toe.
The landings are very dubious, I think. It's not right on, but he's got that strength that he probably wouldn't have had several years ago when he was a lot younger, that he can just actually pull out of those jumps, even though it's not right on the proper edge.
From Poland.
The program kind of fizzled out at the end for me. He had this program packed with triples and difficult moves, but it didn't go anywhere once he got to the end.
Here's the triple axel that was basically under-rotated and took a terrible fall on that. That must have hurt. But Debbie, I agree with you. The program was very frantic. It was ragged. It was sloppy, and actually, I'm quite disappointed. I expected a little bit more in that department from him. I thought that there would be a little more finesse than that.
I found him more refreshing this year than most.
Well, he's a speed jumper.
I thought he was looser. Here's the triple toe, double toe. We very often refer to the double toe. It's the jump that is used most frequently in combinations because I suppose after such a difficult jump as a triple of any sort, the double toe is easiest to pop into. It lends itself well to being used in combination. I found that he he was perhaps less rigid in his body positions this time. You saw a lot more use of the shoulders.
Well, the first set of marks for technical merit range from 5.2s to a 5.6. Artistic impression. And we have a range that goes from 5.2 to 5.6 from Poland. First place at this point, Vitaly Igorov of the Soviet Union. He won the compulsory figures. He lost the short program to Christopher Bowman of the United States, but he still maintains first place overall going into the long program.
He has 7 triple jumps planned. Here's the first one. Triple flip. Nice. Watch the use of his landing knee. He uses lots of knee bend to keep control, to make the landing very soft.
This program started, he was out on the back of the arena here indoors. Too cold to go outside, but he was doing 50-yard dashes, just one end to the other, hardly taking any time between them. He was in tremendous physical condition.
While they're waiting to come on the ice for their warm-up, you see them doing stairs, doing laps down in the bowels of the building. They're doing all kinds of stretch exercises, all in the hopes of warding off injury. Time we've seen this young 22-year-old skater since he was here in Skate Canada in 1981. Ever since that time, while he has been as high as second in the Soviet Union, third on 2 occasions, actually 3 occasions, he's rarely been sent to international competitions. This is the second one in Skate Canada, and I don't know of another one that he's been to other than Skate Canada.
absolutely frustrating for me to watch this program because I have absolutely nothing to comment on except putting check marks beside the number of triples that he's landed. And it's such a contradiction because I was so captivated with the Soviet dance team. And here I find myself adding the number of jumps up, and that's about it.
Vitaly Igorov, the Soviet Union.
One of his most beautiful jumps was the triple left jump from the beginning of the program. Look at the gorgeous height and beautiful position in the air. Again, the use of those knees to control the landing. He came out with lovely speed as well.
He's the leader going into this long one, and as we wait for his marks, we can just tell you about the Figure Skating Association, who are thrusting toward the elite skaters, that they're known and respected throughout the world, a dual mission to bring the enjoyment of skating to every Canadian. In the case of nationalism, to present the best that is Canadian, and of course for Calgary at least to win one medal in each of the events in 1988, and of course to involve more corporations in amateur sport, and they've been doing that very well with the Figure Skating Association under the direction of the Director General, David Dorr. We congratulate you for that. First set of marks now for technical merit.
5.7.
And we have 5.3 up to a pair of 5.7s.
Well, when a judge judges a competition such as this, you have to keep track of the number of triple jumps that each skater does. But let's hope that this panel will show the difference between technical merit and artistic impression.
Well, they're down a little bit, but not very much for artistic impression, because he ranges from 5.2 to 5.7 for Vitaly Igorov of the Soviet. Here is 20-year-old Peter Barna from Czechoslovakia. This is Peter's first visit to Skate Canada.
If the body isn't traveling in the air in a perfectly vertical position, it makes it much more difficult to land.
Like that one. Good short program where he finished third and under pressure. I think that's quite an accomplishment. Can't make any mistakes there and recover. Has drawn the final skating position, with Canada having won gold with Elizabeth Manley and Sullivan Rowson, and a bronze medal with the Garasinos. We'll see whether Neil Patterson can pull up two stops. He's stiff.
Another unusual program layout. Part of the mark the judges are looking, part of the consideration the judges will use in marking any program is the use of the ice surface. Sometimes on television it's a bit difficult to tell just how much ice the skater is covering, but Peter has used most of the center portion of the ice surface and rarely come down into the end zone. It appears lost lopsided.
Peter Barna from Czechoslovakia.
Very often a skater will use some of the simpler jumps to accent certain parts of the program. Here Peter uses a very nice open axle. It almost has a delay at the beginning of it. Not too often seen.
Here we'll have a look at a flying camel. Takes off from a left outside edge, jumps over to the right, spinning on a back outside edge. In a layover position, I feel that the free leg could have been a little bit higher to give it a better line aesthetically. Nevertheless, it was a good rotation and centered.
He has quite an unusual style. When Peter skates, his feet in the air are not pointed. They're kind of pointed with the heels down as opposed to the toes being down. Everyone has their own preference.
Will the judges take away for that? You allow your own style, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely.
For technical merit.
I think it looks clumsy when they're not pointed with the toes.
Wide-ranging marks for technical merit for Peter, from 4.9 up to 5.5. And all the way in between, 4.9 to 5.5. That's a little bit unusual.
The judges, number 1 from Finland, 2 is the Canadian judge, 3 from Czechoslovakia.
And here we go with our second set of marks, ranging from 5.0 up to 5.5. Peter Barna of Czechoslovakia. Of the United States is probably the most best prospect in the world today, outside of those that have won medals in the world in the last 2 or 3 years.
He didn't get to compete in nationals last year due to an injury, but I think generally speaking he ranked number 2 in the state.
He won the free skating program here, but he did it after coming from way back in 6th position in the compulsory figures.
I thought it was very promising to see that. He was the first skater in the short program, and it's not very often that the first skater wins it. Good judging.
Very difficult opening here. Triple flip into a triple toe loop. Excellent. So if you watch Christopher skate, watch the character and personality of his face as opposed to that of Igorov of the Soviet Union. Oh, gorgeous triple leg. I think performing comes very easy to Christopher. As a young boy, he did many television commercials in the States, and he's used to being in front of the camera and performing for a crowd, and he almost thrives on it.
Christopher's from Van Nuys, California, coached by Frank Carroll. better look out down there in the U.S. if this kid ever gets his compulsory figures together.
That it is exactly the right number of steps into everything. Never hurried.
Triple salto into a double shoulder. There's no question about the technical aspect of this program. It's very, very difficult at the 4-minute mark throwing in a triple combination, but he's kept the performance levels very high throughout.
An unusual split flip into a double axel.
Year-old Christopher Bowman from the United States receives a standing ovation from this large, enthusiastic crowd here in Regina, Saskatchewan. An outstanding performance.
There are two types of jumps in skating. Toe jumps, like this triple flip jump, beautiful, and into a triple toe loop from the beginning. And toe jumps are definitely Christopher's forte. The edge jump, something else quite again.
Well, here's a triple salto, which is one of the edge jumps, and he didn't have any problem with these tonight, that's for sure. Straight up, 3 revolutions and out. By and far, the best performance in a single event, in a singles event, here at Skate Canada. We've got Neil Patterson left to go, but I mentioned in the opening that lightning would have to strike, and that was...
Might have been it.
That was it. That was it for me.
Here's one of the final combinations, the triple sow-cow double toe combination at the end of the program.
Oh, look at the mark for Tactical Nara. 5'8", 5'7", 5'9", and 3'5'8".
Marks for artistic impression.
The West German judge gave the 5'9", the second set of marks, and you see 3'5'9", 5'8", and down to a 5'7" for artistic impression. Definitely a champion of the future. Neil Patterson from North Vancouver, British Columbia. He has to follow Christopher Bowman, who received an outstanding standing ovation. The crowd has now settled down to watch this young Canadian, number 2 in Canada, see if he can move from the number 5 position he currently holds. Good start.
Little skiddy on the landing, but he hung on.
Agarov has been able to hold on to first place ahead of Christopher Bowman. Filipowski has dropped to third. Neil Patterson, therefore, will have to try to catch Peter Barna, who at this point is fourth. Well, I hope so. I think his brother Gary standing over the side who coaches him.
Neil's tricks have always been very good, but he's never been able to capture that performance quality. He said with the short program yesterday, he really had fun.
I keep looking over to the corner down here where the whole Canadian team is, and I'm looking for Karen Garasino, who went to the hospital to have her back x-rayed because when she fell with rods falling on top of her, we haven't heard just what the x-rays disclose.
Here is his triple flip combination.
Oh, ouch. Somehow I knew right from the takeoff that one wasn't going to happen. It just, the timing on the takeoff means everything to the result of the jump.
Actually, very often we're so close to the skaters here at ice level that you can almost see their eyes glass over as they come to that rather important element.
So right at the 4-minute mark, this is a fine performance by Neil, far superior to that of last year in Skate Canada. If I remember correctly, he had a few problems. Today was just one miss on the triple split jump. Other than that, very strong indeed.
And good program.
Yes, I think so, Debbie.
Neil Patterson of Canada. And just as he finishes, I spot Karen Garasino, who is back in the arena, so apparently she's okay. Natalia Lebedeva of the Soviet Union, who had to quit earlier because of an injury, is in a cast, and she will be going back to Leningrad with her teammates.
Let's have a look at the triple axel here. He has an interesting takeoff. He checks himself around very strongly before the takeoff, and coming out, he did skid a little bit, but it was absolutely clean and very nicely done.
Neil Patterson.
Here's his Arabian backsit spin. Watch this. The cartwheel right down into the backsit. Very difficult to center. Good trick. Here's the triple flip jump. Really the only problem that he had in the program. You can see the body start to lean. Free leg never got out. Too bad.
Neil was fifth in the compulsory figures. Then he had a one problem, and that's all it takes in a short program to drop from anywhere from second or third down to fifth. And that's what happened to him. So he was fifth overall, but his marks now, here he's got good marks here for technical merit. He's got from 5.2 up to a series of 5.7s. 5.7s for Neil Patterson. And for artistic impression, he's got a couple of 5.1s, and then he goes up to 5.6s. So 5.1 to 5.6, the range for artistic impression, and in just a moment we'll be able to tell you exactly where he stands, and we'll do that after we officially, Vitaly Egorov of the Soviet Union holds on.
The rest of our Canadian skaters has been in many respects due to the support they have received from the sponsors of these telecasts on CTV. And we at CTV are delighted to work with our sponsors, such as Mac Cross, the product manager for Letterly, makers of Centrum vitamins with the 18 essential ingredients, of course. And we have a check that is going to be a very great help to our Athletes Trust Fund. And we have a great little gal over here to accept it in just a moment. But, Mac, we are delighted that you've been with us for so long and with us again. And you have another check for Liz here and all those skaters.
John, I'm so happy to be here. It's just fantastic. We've been over 3 years now, and young folks like Liz, one of my favorite people. It's just delightful to provide a check for $10,000 for the Athletes Trust Fund. Keep it going. We love you.
There you are, Liz.
Thank you. On behalf of all the skaters, especially on the national team, we'd like to thank Mr. Cross and Centrum for all his help. Funds towards Athlete Trust has made a drastic improvement in our national team training, and hopefully you'll see big and better things from us this year and 88. Thank you.
Oh, you're doing great. Thanks very much, Liz. Thank you very much, Mac. And we'll look forward to seeing you during the rest of the show and, of course, in the rest of our programming here on CTV.
Will be Elizabeth Manley trying to regain the Canadian Championship after having won St. Ives just recently, and she is in first place here at Skate Canada. The top four skaters, half the field, skate in the reverse order of their finish, and by the luck of the draw, in the bottom half, she gets to skate, followed by Leister, Conway, and Lebedeva.
She blew them away in the warm-up. She came out, and within the first minute and a half of the 5-minute warm-up, she had done every triple on her book.
And here comes the triple Lutz jump right here. Oh, beautiful. I've never seen a female skater do a triple Lutz as well as Elizabeth does.
Her timing is very, very quick. Sometimes when she gets overexcited, I think she rushes it a bit.
She's much more mature now at 21. She's much more sure of herself. In other words, there isn't that hesitation about will she land it or won't she. Much credit to Sonia and Peter Dunfield, her coaches.
I think choreographically and with her showmanship, they have capitalized on that perky personality.
She's taken off 15 pounds since last year, and I guess she's a 50% better skater. Lutz. After that beautiful musical interpretation.
Here comes the combination with the triple toe at the end of it. Oh, she doubled out of that one. That is the third triple that she has planned that she's made into a double jump. And I think, Debbie, you mentioned at the beginning, when she gets a little bit too excited, the timing on the takeoff goes off, she turns them into doubles.
There's a triple toe loop. She has done a little insta choreography here in the program. She's left out a couple of her very best high Russian split jumps. Back on target now. Trying to get those triple jump combinations or content into the program.
Finale! And a standing ovation for Elizabeth Manley.
Here's one of the double axels that Elizabeth did in the program, the very first jump in the program, which was very good. And after that, she did a nice triple salto and a triple lutz, which is the strongest part of her program. Here's a look at that triple salto right there, probably the best triple she did in the program.
She's certainly the crowd's favorite. Standing ovation here from many of the audience.
And that's not just because she's Canadian, but she was so exciting, she was so pretty, she interpreted her music, and the marks for technical merit. These marks, there you see them, 5.5 and a string of 5.7s. That's for technical. So the little ones that she left out, she wasn't penalized for them. She didn't have to do them. And this set of marks for artistic impression, a little higher, as they range from 5.6s up to a 5.8. So that's Elizabeth Manley, who was third after the short program, was first after compulsory figures, and at this moment is in first place. In third place, Claudia Lietzner from West Germany. She was second after the short program, and she was fourth after the compulsory figure. So she stands third overall.
Little mishap on the first jump in the program. This girl can be very good technically. She has great athletic ability, but was suffering from problems even during the warm-up. It was only the last minute of the warm-up that she actually started to get any of the triples down.
Claudia, you'll remember, finished in sixth place, just one step behind Elizabeth in the World Championship last year. But there's quite a differential in improvement in the two of them since we saw them a year ago.
Wonderful music from Slaughter on 10th Avenue. And Somewhere from West Side Story.
commentating before all of the jumps, really telegraphing them, and it's really quite annoying, you know, to my eye when I watch that in a program. It sort of loses the flow.
To the ice on a landing rather than feeling that the speed should increase on the landing.
Seconds left in a 4-minute program. Claudia Leistner from West Germany, coached by former world champion Andrei Nepolai.
While we're watching some of Claudia's replay here, let me just outline for you the judges in order. Number 1 is from East Germany. Number 2 from Great Britain. 3 is the Soviet Union. 4, Yugoslavia. 5th is the Canadian judge. 6th from the United States. And number 7 is the judge from West Germany. Claudia had some troubles in the program. I think that the double axel here was very nice, but I think the ladies have compromised the program.
Well, definitely, and even though she did do a few of
this tremendous obsession with triple jumps, I think the ladies are sacrificing some of the artistic parts of the program and certainly the kind of choreographic elements. I think they're terribly lacking for many.
It's true, and we say this year after year, and nothing seems to change.
First set of marks for technical merit, and there you see them ranging from a 5.1 to a high of 5.5 with 2 3/4 in the middle. So the second set of artistic impression will be a little high. There it is, a 5.6, but bottoms out at 5.1. So Claudia Leistner, 5.1 to 5.6 for artistic impression, and so she has now made her challenge here at Skate Canada. Joanne Conway, probably the best prospect that Britain has had in the ladies singles competition in a long, long time. She's 22 years.
It's interesting to note that both Claudia and Joanne are skating to Slaughter on 5th Avenue. Nice, strong double axels open.
Joanne was 5th in the short program after being a strong second in the compulsory figures, which puts her in 4th place overall. Correction on her age, she's 15 years of age. Weekend here in Regina. These young ladies from around the world are turning it up. They're turning on the heat for this big, excited crowd in Regina.
applause.
Attempted triple toe that she really didn't complete the 3 revolutions in that at all. Consequently, the landing was not backward, it was sideways. There's no way you could land it.
Like so many Europeans, they start with the local coaches and the regional coaches, and then so many of them wind up with Carlo Fassi in Colorado Springs for refinement. Now, she's there very early at the age of 15. Skaters, along with all our younger ones, too, the junior and novice, as the Canadians are held in Ottawa, February 2nd to the 7th. So all you folks in the Ottawa area, that's your plan for that one if you haven't already done so. Nicely done. Joanne Conway from Great Britain.
I thought there were some very nice moments in the program. She had some good tricks. I particularly liked her layback spin. We're going to see on slow-mo here. And there were moments when I actually felt she was listening to the music. Other times it seemed like she wasn't having a very good time. Well, I wish all the skaters would add up how many seconds they're in the air.
Well, here we'll have a look at the triple toe that she missed. She fell on the landing, but throughout the entire program, I felt that she was so sloppy with the arm movements and just sort of didn't take the care and the time to make a program with a lot of finesse.
If they added up all the seconds they're in the air, they'd realize how important the rest of the program is.
Absolutely.
The technical side has been charged, even though you see it ranging up as high as 5.4, but it's down to a 4.9, and that's for technical merits. And this is for 50% of the total marks. The second set of marks, these range from a 5.0 up to a 5.4. Joanne Conway of Great Britain. Natalia Lebedeva of the Soviet Union. Now here is the one girl who has a chance to catch Elizabeth Manley. At this moment, she's in second place. She won the short program, and that was all determined by one little mistake that Elizabeth made.
She has a great combination plan here, double axel, triple toe. Failed to get checked correctly on the triple toe. Nice height, though. Telegraphing a major jump coming up. Attempted triple loop jump.
Natalia was 10th in the World Championships last year after finishing very strong 4th in the European Championships, but she's hurt. She's injured her leg. I think she's going to have to withdraw. I just don't think that she's going to be able to get up and continue. Oh, what a terrible shame. They'll have to have somebody come out to help her off because that right knee, great pain.
Now, whether she spiked herself,
It looked like to me that the the side of her knee went smack against the ice because she had a rather rough fall, as you saw there.
Now, there's your coach, Igorson.
The gentleman in the dark blue jacket.
And the doctor is out there with her as well.
Let's see if we can determine what exactly happened here.
It was on a triple salto here. She had a terrific lean right from the beginning, right in the takeoff there. Actually, it wasn't so bad of a lean, but the side of her knee did go right against the ice.
From a different angle, let's see again. Good takeoff. She had lovely height in the air. Nice tuck. You see the right shoulder fall down there. Again, the free leg pulled her right off the edge. It seems to be, though, she's holding
her right.
Yeah.
Yes, her
the
right.
right knee.
Elizabeth Manley of Canada wins the gold medal. Claudia Liesner of West Germany wins silver. Joanne Conway of Great Britain wins the bronze. Tracy Damigella of the United States fourth. Kelly Smirlo of the United States is fifth. Now, had Natalia Lebedeva stayed on the ice, even though she was hurt, had she stayed on until the 4 minutes had surpassed, she would have then been listed as having completed the program. The fact that she left the ice meant that she had to be listed as a withdrawal. So the only person who had a chance to catch Elizabeth Manley, Natalia Lebedeva of the Soviet Union, had to withdraw.
And here she is, the Ladies Skate Canada champion from Canada, Elizabeth Manley. Liz, congratulations.
Thank
That's 2 in a row.
That's 2 in a row. I had St. Ivel 3 weeks ago in England, and I was very successful there, too.
Did Lebedeva's problem cause you any problem?
It was a little disappointing. It sort of takes a bit of the excitement out of winning this gold medal. I think with the way she skated, though, the first couple triples she did miss, and I was pretty pleased with my performance tonight. I had a couple little errors and things that I can clean up and work on when I get home, but I have a feeling that maybe if she had continued her program, I might have still been all right and won this long program tonight.
You kind of blew everybody away in the warm-up. You came out being the first to skate in the last group. I know it's a really hard spot to be, but you came out, skated all the triples, bang, 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 within about the first minute and a half. Everybody was going nuts in the building. Do you plan it that way?
Well, tonight I had to plan it that way because I was skating first, and I'm finding this rink is very difficult to breathe in. It is dry, and there's a lot of flowers around that are giving off a slight aroma and that, and a lot of skaters have been complaining about the breathing in here, and I think it's just because we're used to a damp atmosphere like Ottawa. But anyways, skating first tonight, I had to get everything off. I couldn't bother taking the time and working on doubles, so I did an extra long off-ice warm-up tonight. I really got myself going. Came out, and for the first time ever, I warmed up on just triples, no doubles, no singles or anything tonight, and they were all very good for me, and I had 2 minutes to wait before I had to skate. Instead of waiting the last minute of warm-up to rest, I waited 2 minutes, and I think it helped me.
Well, it was a wonderful performance. We felt very proud of you indeed, and we hope that you go on to bigger and even better things.
Oh, thank you.
Best of luck to Elizabeth Manley, new Skate Canada champion.